It's a VK3 CSJ in Narre Warren South. Broadcasting on prime frequency of 3541 kilohertz in the 80 meter amateur radio band, and also simulcasting on 160 meters on 1865 kilohertz amplitude modulation. We're also broadcasting on 3541 tonight in AM mode. I thought I'd revisit the AM operation, so everybody can turn to their AM mode for signals tonight. Hopefully it won't be too much of a problem for some. But anyway, yes, we're broadcasting AM tonight, amplitude modulation on 80 meters and on 160. So there's about 100 watts out on 160 and a little bit more than 100 watts on 80 meters tonight. Not much though, but a little bit. We're also transmitting via the Melbourne television repeater, VK3 RTV digital channel 1. And we're streaming via the World Wide Web on YouTube. Search for VK3 VK3 CSJ on YouTube, and all will be revealed, more or less. The HD version, at least, will be on the YouTube side of the stream. Anyway, just trying to get myself together here, and if there's any reports wishing to come tonight, you've got an email address you can send reports to, vk3ekh@gmail.com, vk3 Echo Kilo Hotel @gmail.com. We also have a chat window, a Discord chat window, which can be found on the ASV website at www.asv.org.au under the Radio Astronomy tab, and look for the link to the ASV radio broadcast. Anyway, good evening everybody. This 1st of July 2022, and I trust that everybody is well and doing the best that they can to stay warm and all that. So a very pleasant good evening anyway to folks listening on 160 and on 80 meters AM. We are broadcasting AM tonight, so I hope that it goes across okay. Okay, we have a few things. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. We have a few things tonight. We also have a reasonable update on the latest solar report from Timotheusco. She's delivering a fairly current report. It only came out, I think, a few hours ago. It's just the kind of reports that I like because it makes it very current. And so thanks, Timothy. That'll feature actually fairly early into tonight, rather than towards the end. Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see how we go on that. I'm just going to go with the fly. All right. Now, first things first. Just the usual information about the Astronomical Society of Victoria for those who don't know. The Astronomical Society of Victoria was founded in 1922, comprises over 1,600 members throughout Victoria, the states of Australia and overseas. Membership of the Society is open to all persons with an interest in astronomy. The Society's objectives are to encourage the study and practice of astronomy, to disseminate the knowledge of the science, and to provide greater facilities for the study among its members. Monthly meetings are usually held on the second Wednesday of each month, except in January, the latter being held on a Saturday night. Meetings start at 8 p.m. in the Mullior Hall, National Herbarium, at Burwood Avenue, Melbourne, near the Melbourne Observatory, which is located adjacent to the Shrine of Remembrance. Parking is available in Burwood Avenue, Dallas Brooks Drive, and the surrounding streets. Admission is free and visitors are most welcome. Also, there's privilege of the membership include the right to borrow books and periodicals from other publications from the extensive library located at Melbourne Observatory. Receipt of the ASV magazine Crux containing articles, news, observing notes and the like, and the free provision of the Astronomical yearbook. Access is available to telescopes on members' nights held regularly at the Melbourne Observatory, and after the monthly meeting if the weather is good. These instruments include the Society's 300mm equatorial reflector and a 300mm portable reflector. There's also a 200mm refractor managed by the Royal Botanic Gardens, and a recently restored photoheliograph are also housed at the observatory and are accessible as well. The Society also has a number of 200mm reflectors available for short period loan, so members can try before they buy. Regular Society Club Night meetings are held on the first and last Fridays of each month at the Lodge, the Society's property located in Burwood. Members are encouraged to use the Society's instruments located there to gain first-hand experience in telescope use. These instruments include a 508mm equatorial reflector and a number of smaller reflectors. Members are also encouraged to make use of the Society's country property located near Melbourne, near Heathcote, some 90-minute drive north of Melbourne. There are a range of instruments available for members to use, the larger two only with appropriate training, and they range from 300mm to 1000mm in aperture. Also located on site is the 8.5 metre radio telescope, fully steerable, which members can access with involvement in the radio astronomy section. Members are encouraged to make and use telescopes. Advice and help on both matters are provided willingly to newcomers desiring to do the same. Instrument making is only one of the number of common interest activities catered for within the Society. Other areas of interest that members can participate in include deep sky observing, astrophotography, lunar and planetary observing, auroral, meteor, comet and radio astronomy, computing, cosmology and astrophysics. Historical studies and research and astronomy in general are all catered for one way or another. Contact details for various section directors are provided in the yearbook or on the ASV website at www.asv.org.au. Further information may be obtained by visiting the ASV website, and notifications of events are given in Crux Extra. The Crux Extra are an extra bulletin as opposed to the regular Crux magazine. Every other week the Crux Extra is emailed out to members and reminding members of certain events and anything that's new that needs to be brought out fairly quickly. Please note that ASV will conform to all government health directives. ASV events may be required to be cancelled, moved or postponed. Information from the ASV can be found by writing to the Secretary of the Astronomical Society Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. That's the Secretary, Astronomical Society Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001, if you wish to write a letter. Otherwise, you can just visit the ASV website at www.asv.org.au. That's www.asv.org.au, and all will be revealed. Okay, all right, we have our first email that's come from, looks like Don. Yep, g'day Don. And I'm sure he'll have a delightful report of the AM that's being transmitted tonight. So let's just see what Don is going to say. He says, loving the AM on 80 metres, with a lot of sibilants, 20 over 9 on 80 and 20 over 9 on 160. That's just the way I like it. Audio sounds great, and your tube looks good. Oh, YouTube, I see. Okay. I was trying to work out what tube are you talking about. YouTube looks great. That's what it is. Okay, it should, because that's where the HD sits at the moment. I'm still waiting for my HD boards to arrive. I don't know why, but they're still sitting in Germany. Anyway, so having said all that, let's get into things. But I might just show you this is the for those watching the TV and YouTube. That's the latest Crux magazine. What I referred to. This is the publication that the Society ASV produces, and there it is. And look at this on the back of this. These are all new members, March and April. These guys at the back here, they're all new members that have decided to come up and join the ASV. So it's quite a bit. And I used to be able to see the number of members, but I seem to have lost access to that. So I can only say that at this stage that we're probably around 1,600 members. But I used to know exactly how much we were coming, how many were the total tally, so to speak. But that's another story. Anyway, you're tuned to ASV Radio VK3 EKH, and also this came through today too, the latest planetary report. Again, for those watching TV, I get the planetary report every couple of months or so. This is the society that Carl Sagan founded, and is now run by a group that are all for exploration in space and doing things like that. And you can become a member of the Planetary Society, fairly easy to do. But that's their latest magazine, and I haven't quite gone through it yet. Oh, look at that. So anyway, yes, lots of Mars stuff in it, really. There it is. And that's probably, with the picture on the front, it's predominantly a Mars art magazine this month. A path to sample return, celebrating 25 years since NASA's Pathfinder launched the modern era of Mars exploration. And that's in fact what you can see on the front of that magazine is the Mars Pathfinder, which is one of the reasons why I got onto the internet back in 96, 97, was because the Mars Pathfinder was about to land on Mars, and I knew that NASA was releasing live images pretty much as it was all happening, but with a modem speed of 56k. Well, images took a little while to load, but nevertheless, you didn't know anything faster than that. You thought that was pretty cool, and the fact is you were actually seeing it almost in real time, and I think that's what really was the winner. Anyway, that's another story too. All right, because it is the 1st of July, the thing that we have to go into first off is the sky notes, courtesy of the planetarium, Science Works, the Science Museum in Melbourne, and I think it's Tanya Hill that composes all this. So, sky notes for July 2022. It starts off with the sunrise times. So for those that are interested in knowing what time the sun rises, on Friday the 1st of July, today, the sun rose at 7:36 a.m. and set at 5:11 p.m. On Monday the 11th of July, the sun will rise at 7:34 a.m. and setting at 5:16 p.m. And on Thursday the 21st of July, sun will rise at 7:29 and set at 5:23. And by the end of the month, on Sunday the 30th of July, the sun will rise at 7:21 a.m. and set at 5:31 p.m. So the days are progressively getting longer, starting off with the day length at 9 hours and 34 minutes. By the end of the month, it'll be 10 hours and 10 minutes long. So we are heading back to summer and heading back to those longer days. Thank goodness. Moon phases. There will be a first quarter on Thursday, July 7. There will be a full moon on 14th of July. And there'll be a third quarter on the 21st of July, Thursday, and it will be a new moon on Friday the 29th of July. Moon distances. On Wednesday the 13th of July, the moon will be nearest to the Earth at 357,264 kilometres. That's all useful information, isn't it? And on Tuesday the 26th of July, the moon will be furthest from Earth at 406,274 kilometres. Perigee and apogee. Planets. What's happening with the planets this month? Mercury. Mercury, unlike last month, is not visible as it rises too close to the Sun. Venus is still visible, but only for a short time as it draws ever closer to the Sun. It rises around 6 a.m, but then fades in the morning light. Good morning, starshine. Earth reaches aphelion this year on Tuesday, the 4th of July, Melbourne time, which is furthest distance from the Sun at 152.1 million kilometres. You could almost throw a stone. So that's on the 4th of July. Our planet's largely elliptical orbit brought Earth to perihelion closest to the Sun on the 4th of January, when it was 5 million kilometres closer. Earth's orbit is determined by the gravitational influence of the Sun and other planets, but above all by the Moon, which is so close to us. Interestingly, Earth's orbit slowly changes from elliptical to almost circular, and then back again over a period of 100,000 years, which shows how dynamic planetary orbits can be over long time scales. To see the 5 million kilometre difference as seen from Earth, which is a change of about 3% in the Sun's apparent diameter, they're requesting you that you visit Astronomy Picture of the Day, APOD, for January 9, 2020, and a striking image by Ian Griffin of Atco Museum. That's the 9th of January 2020. So if you are familiar with Astronomy Picture of the Day, which is abbreviated as APOD, every day they put up a fairly unique image taken by just about anybody, but generally anything that's worthy putting up as the Astronomy Picture of the Day, they do it. And they're making reference to the 9th of January 2020 in regards to this. Every day APOD features, well, here we go, I didn't need to say all that, the next paragraph was exactly the same thing. Every day APOD features a marvellous image with expert explanations and links to follow up, and its archive of previous days is a rich resource to explore and enjoy. And they on this particular website, they give you a video link that talks about aphelion and perihelion, if that's how you pronounce that. It's only goes for about 50 seconds. It was a pretty blurry image, so I didn't bother putting it up, to be honest. It wasn't really sharp, clean and sharp. I wasn't going to worry about it. Okay, so that's talking about Earth. That's right. Jupiter. Jupiter can be seen brightly from 11:30 p.m. in the east, and as it moves high in the north during the night before being overwhelmed in the early morning light. Saturn, although fainter, can be seen rising at 8:30 p.m. and as it moves high in the east, then north before finally fading low in the west as dawn approaches. Meteors. This month there are no strong meteor showers, but on the 27th to the 30th of July, we have the southern delta Asteroids, who should be visible in the constellation of Aquarius, the water barrier high in the north. The meteors will radiate from the near Scat Delta Aquarii, the fourth brightest star in the constellation, and the best time to look is a few hours before dawn, when perhaps 20 meteors per hour can be seen or could be seen. So that's that one was the what they referred to as the Scat, SKAT, Delta Aquarii. Aquaria, it's a Latin word. Southern Delta Asteroids. So that's towards the end of the month. Okay, so the stars and constellations. Time is 21 past the hour already. Good grief, it's so quick. A Stellarium View. Stellarium is a program which allows you to view the sky. It's a free downloadable program. Very good, in fact, is Stellarium. A Stellarium View, they're showing you on the screen. Again, I didn't take a copy of this, but they're referring to a picture on the screen. A Stellarium View of the northeast to southwest for 7 p.m. on July. That's the view we're looking at. Scorpius, Sagittarius, Centaurus, and Crux are featured. The red giant star Antares is in Scorpius, is marked, and below the Scorpion tail in Sagittarius is the famous teapot, which sits vertically, handle below, lid to the left, and spout above. Anybody who's seen the constellation of Orion would be familiar with that configuration. Alpha and Beta Centauri are the two bright stars low in Centaurus, and as pointers they lead the eye to nearby Crux high in the south. The Milky Way broadband arcs across the sky from east to west at this time of the night. In the west, Canis Major and Sirius brightest star at night time stars, and Canis Minor and Procyon are still visible but low this month in the west and northwest respectively. In the north you've got in the north is Virgo and the star Spicer, while Leo is in the northwest, recognisable by its upside down hook pattern of stars with the star Regulus. If you look towards the east, you've got Scorpius, which rises much higher in the southeast, and with the red giant star Antares, easily seen from areas with city lights. Below and fully revealed is the Centaur archer Sagittarius, whose bow and arrow forms the famous asterism, the teapot. In the south, you've got the Southern Cross, or Crux. It's high up directly south, and to the left the pointers Alpha and Beta Centauri, which mark the front hooves of the other celestial centaur. The billions of stars, distant stars, and numerous dark dust clouds of the Milky Way forms a broad band across the evening sky from west to east. From our southern perspective, we enjoy a superb view of the galaxy, quite different to the northern hemisphere locations. Easy to see in the southwest are the intriguing irregular shaped neighbouring galaxies, the large and small clouds of Magellan, which are special features of our southern sky. Visible are bright stars like Canopus in the southwest and Annika close to the horizon in the south. The International Space Station can be seen. It takes about 90 minutes to Earth the orbit. Orbit to the Earth. Here are some brightest passes expected this month over Melbourne and Central Victoria.
Transmission on ATV.
Oh, did I? Oh, I don't know why. Oh, just a technical hitch has just occurred. We have lost our picture on the ATV side of it, so I guess the best thing to do is switch to YouTube. Yeah, there's nothing there, is it, Richard? Nothing at all?
Yeah, it's gone blank. I don't know if the repeater's down or you've dropped out.
Yeah, no, I'm still transmitting. I'm pretty sure I'm still transmitting. Nothing seems to have failed here. Maybe it has. I haven't got a power meter on the output, so I'm not sure if that's the case. I'll just bear with this. There's a technical glitch here. While I just reset my TV transmitter, I'll just turn it off and do this and do this. So I'm just killing the power to the TV transmitter and letting that reset. And we'll just fire it back up again. This is the DVB-S system. DVB-S transmitter that operates on 1255 megahertz. Alright, we'll turn it back on again. And just let the system boot up. Or digital. Okay, we're in standby. So that's all done. Everything's green. All lights are green. Turning on the transmitter now. Okay, so the transmitter is up and running, and I have to assume that there is power going out. But it'll take about 10 seconds for the repeater to kick on if it is working. So far, nothing. Well, I don't know. Maybe the ATV repeater has fallen over. It's just taken too much of me. That's the problem. No, there's nothing there, is there, Richard? It's not.
I think the repeater's down.
Yeah, you might want to try and come up yourself to see if you can trigger it from your place if you can. I've just gone off, so I've turned the TV repeater off for the moment.
Yeah, even BACC's not working.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, it looks like the repeaters kicked the bucket for the night. Okay, so like I say, just go across to YouTube. You'll find my YouTube stream on if you type in VK3CSJ on your favourite search engine within YouTube. So you just type in VK3CSJ, Charlie Sierra Juliet, and you'll find the HD version running pretty well, I would say. Okay, so I'll just check my inbox again, and we have Stuart that's sent a report in as well. Good copy, Northern Suburbs on 80 metres. Is that on the Jaliso, Stuart, I wonder? Also, we have Stephen. Yeah, g'day Stephen, VK3 Steve, VK3 SPX is giving me reports as to 5930 over there at Barringup. And
Yeah, it's down. I can't come up either.
yeah, all right, cool, no worries. All right, that's okay. We can live with that. I don't know if Peter's in the shack there, but he's probably trying to attend to it right now if he's up and about. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, for that break in transmission, but we shall resume as soon as possible. Now, where are we? Where did I leave off? I was going through the International Space Station, wasn't I? Okay. Oh, gee. All right. International Space Station. This, in the evening, you can see a very good pass, if it's not cloudy, on the 6th of July, Wednesday the 6th of July, from 11 past 7 to 7:14 p.m. Coming in from the west-southwest to the west. Then also on Thursday, the 7th of July, the next day, there will be a passing, a nighttime or evening passing at 6:23 p.m. to 6:29 p.m. coming in from the southwest to the east-northeast. Then if you're an early morning riser, that's unlike me, on Tuesday the 19th of July, there will be a passing at 6:58 a.m. to 7:05 a.m. coming in from the northwest to the southeast. And on Friday the 22nd of July, there will be a passing at 6:07 a.m. to 6:15 a.m. coming in from the west to southeast. All that information, all the international space station passings over your location can be found at the heavensabove.com website. Heavens Above, just type in Heavens Above and you'll go very quickly to that site, and all manner of things are trackable on that website. The everything from iridium flares, which I believe is still happening, to all celestial objects and all amateur radio satellites are all in that on that list. Very big category. Heavensabove.com worth investigating. So, given the fact that we are hitting 10:30, I'll just go through the first few dates here of interest. On the 1st of July, 1770, closest pass to Earth by any known comet, Comet Lexell, at 2.2 million kilometres, roughly 5.5 times the moon distance. On the 4th of July, 1054, Chinese and other astronomers witnessed a supernova explosion that produced the Crab Nebula, 6,500 light years away. Also on the 4th of July 2005, Deep Impact Probe USA crashes into Comet Tempel 1 to analyse its composition. Also on the 4th of July 1868, birth of Henrietta Swan Leavitt, who established the luminosity period relationship of Cepheid variable stars, allowing Edwin Hubble to show nebulae were other galaxies beyond our own. One more. On the 5th of July 1687, Isaac Newton's Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy is published, laying the groundwork for much of modern science. So there's plenty more dates there. We shall work our way through those as we proceed through July. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. G'day Rob. VK3XRA has just turned up on the chat window, and g'day Kim, VK5FUSE, and Steve is there too. Cassiopeia, g'day Nebs. Astrophiz is there, g'day Brian. Welcome to tonight's session. Gee, it's rare to see you up on the Discord. And we have Martin, VK7JH from Launceston, also there too. Let me see who else is the top there. No, that's about it. All right. Okay, we've got a star-spangled listenership tonight. Are you watching the YouTube too, Brendan, I wonder? Oh dear. All right. So there it is. Now, the next thing I've got here, it's already 10:30, so I might just run this article first, and then I'll go into Timothy's solar report. Get that out of the way before it gets too late tonight. Anyway, there's a picture here, courtesy of ESA and NASA. So I'll just bring up the picture and run with that. Okay, there it is. Okay, colours burst from the Large Magellanic Cloud. Retired missions capture vibrant images of our cosmic neighbour, June 30. It's actually quite a short article, thank goodness. Okay, let's see, what are they saying? There might not be a pot of gold found at the end of the rainbow like Puff, but the image of the Large Magellanic Cloud, LMC, a satellite galaxy of our Milky Way, does offer a detailed assessment of the galaxy's composition according to a news release from NASA's Hubble site. Using data collected from ESA's Herschel Space Observatory, which ended its operations in 2013, along with 3 other retired missions, researchers combined multiple infrared radio images to offer a more detailed study into the LMC's dust cloud density. The other retired missions include ESA's Planck Observatory, NASA's Infrared Astronomical Satellite, and NASA's Cosmic Background Explorer. In the picture, radiating the edges of the LMC is hydrogen gas, shown in red. The red tail is likely the result of a collision with another of our satellite galaxies, the Small Magellanic Cloud, SMC, some 100 million years ago. Glints of green coal dust and warm blue dust shape the more internal areas of the cloud. Bubbles void of colour seen near the centre are the results of the winds from newly formed stars blowing away the local gas and dust. Researchers also collected similar data from the Andromeda Galaxy M31, the SMC and the Triangulum Galaxy, all neighbours of our Milky Way. Besides their striking glow, these images provide scientists further insight into how the density of gas clouds vary from galaxy to galaxy. That's what I like, super short articles. All right. So there it is. That's a very interesting little image there, and one of which we have pointed our radio telescope to and detected neutral hydrogen coming from and recorded. That's another story. Okay, next on the... so now I was going to go across to Tamitha. Okay, let me see. What do I do here now? So she's ready there. Now I've got to do a little bit of trick here. The faders are up on the mixer. I've got to wind my mic down, or else you're going to hear me breathing in the background. And the next thing to do is also open that. So just stand by. We shall go to Tamitha in just a moment. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel.
Just as we're coming down from a solar storm, a new Earth-directed solar storm is launched, and solar flux tanks. Those stories and more in the news this week. This space weather forecast is sponsored in part by Millersville University. Come get certified in broadcast space weather. Visit millersville.edu/SWEN. Space weather switches gears a bit this week. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, you can see there are still a lot of active regions on the Earth-facing disk. However, none of them are big flare players. Unlike last week, we aren't getting the big radio blackouts that we've kind of used to getting. But we did have from region 3040, we had a big solar storm that's Earth-directed be launched. In fact, it looks beautiful in the coronagraphs. You can see that big partial halo. However, this happened at a time when we actually lost our imagery due to a power outage up near the source where we get our SDO imagery. So that's still kind of like ramping back up. We're still trying to recover some of those images. So we have to take a look at that when we look at the sun's far side. Meanwhile, solar flux has been dying down a bit. And so we're not getting the radio propagation that we're used to on Earth's day side. However, coming down from that solar storm that we've had over the past couple days, this does mean that electron flux is ramping up, and therefore we're having some charging issues in GEO. So satellite operators, for those with dealing with space traffic, you're going to have to deal with those ramping charging issues over the next few days. Switching to our M-flare threat meter, as you can see as we take a look at our X-ray flux, there's been a downward trend over this past week, and this is because all the big flare players that we had from about a week ago, they've all now rotated to the sun's far side. We do still have some active regions on the Earth-facing disk, but they're a lot smaller and they're definitely not big flare players. Therefore, the X-ray flux is tanking, and by proxy, the solar flux is tanking as well. We are now back into the high 90s. We've dropped down below triple digits, so radio propagation on Earth's day side is suffering just a little bit, and this may be a little bit of an issue as well, especially when that big solar storm ends up hitting Earth. It could cause a bit more of an issue on the day side since we have solar flux kind of dropping a little bit. Sadly, these conditions will likely last over the next week. They may rise just a little bit, but we'll be hovering in the high 90s maybe for a few more days before things look better, because we don't have a lot of active regions on the sun's far side that look like are going to be big players yet. But hold on, because those other flare players shall return. It just may take a couple weeks. Switching to our solar storm conditions, as you can see back on the 25th and 26th, we got hit by that fast solar wind from that kind of extended coronal hole that was rotating in through the Earth strike zone, and it bumped us up to storm levels for a little while. And because of the kind of strange nature of that coronal hole and the shape of it, it actually kept us at active conditions over the next couple days before things began to settle down a bit. Now, this of course happened over field day and may have affected radio propagation just a little bit. So if you guys wondered why certain bands didn't seem to be working, well, that's the reason. Meanwhile, we've kind of settled settled down now. We're back into unsettled conditions to almost quiet conditions. And this is going to last for the next day or so. But get ready, because we do have that Earth-directed solar storm that should be hitting us right around the 1st. And because the Earth has already been a bit rattled, it won't take that much to bump us back up to active conditions, possibly even storm levels. So aurora photographers, if you didn't get a chance to catch many shots during this recent solar storm, you are going to get another chance. Now switching back to that Earth-directed solar storm, this is our prediction model, Enlil. This is NASA's version of the model, and you're looking down at the sun from the North Pole with Earth being off to the right. And you can see that solar storm being launched. Now this storm is a big storm, but it is moving quite slowly. And man, that makes it difficult to predict both in the arrival time and also the intensity. So as this thing, as it hits Earth, it looks like, according to NASA, we should be getting a hit right about noon on the 1st. And it is a big storm, so it could last quite a while. So aurora photographers, if you're at high latitudes, you could definitely get some decent shows. Now, aurora photographers at mid-latitudes, well, it's really going to have to depend upon how fast this storm actually is and how strong it actually is, because it could be pretty weak and therefore not give us all that much. But the fact that it's big and it could last a long time might build up to aurora. So we're going to have to really kind of take this one once it hits us. So keep your batteries charged, even for those of you at mid-latitudes, because you know what? You might indeed get a show. And now switching to our far-sighted sun, this is stereo A, and it's looking at the sun just a little bit from the side. Now you can take a look at stereo. We actually have data this time from about the 25th on, and on the 26th and into the 27th, you can start seeing around region 3040 and a little bit to the north, kind of some slow changes. Well, those slow changes are actually that solar storm that's Earth-directed. That was it launching. We're hoping to get some better imagery soon, but this is the best we've got right now. Models show that this storm should hit Earth right about midday on the 1st. So you geo-satellite operators, as you're dealing with that surface charging and internal charging, don't worry about it, because as soon as this solar storm hits, all that flux will be flushed and you should be able to be in the clear. Switching to our moon, we are now passing through the new moon phase on our way to a first quarter. And by the 4th, the moon will only be about 25% illuminated. So you night sky watchers, now's a perfect chance to catch those dim objects in the sky, like, I don't know, maybe some aurora from an Earth-directed solar storm. Switching to our solar storm conditions and aurora possibilities over the coming week, we are still coming down from that fast solar wind that bumped us up to storm levels just a few days ago, and we have that new Earth-directed solar storm that's expected to hit us in and around the 1st. So at high latitudes, NOAA's expecting active conditions, and we have up to about a 50% chance of a major storm. It's going to be a little bit hard to tell. I know that's a bit of a spread, but it's really hard to know when we have these big storms that are moving very slowly how hard they're going to impact us. If we do get to major storm conditions at high latitudes, we definitely could be storming over the next couple days in through possibly the 2nd or the 3rd before things begin to settle down. Now, mid-latitudes, we're also only expecting active conditions, but we do have about a 25% chance of a minor storm and even a skosh of a chance of a major storm. Likely not going to get there, but what that does mean is that we could again see some aurora even down at mid-latitudes over, sporadically over the first couple days in July, and that's kind of a nice little treat if you happen to be in the United States. It's July 4th coming up, so enjoy the extra fireworks and nature's fireworks, especially with that new moon, because then the skies should be nice and quiet and dark for you. So that should last in through the first couple days in July, and then things will begin to taper off from there. Switching to our solar flare and particle radiation storm outlook over the coming week, everything is pretty much back in the green when it comes to big solar flares. We do have a few active regions on the Earth-facing disk, but only one of them, region 3040, has a skosh of a chance for big flares. NOAA is giving us about a 5% chance of M-class flares over the next couple days, and likely these conditions will continue until region 3040 rotates to the sun's far side. So this is good news for GPS users users, we have very little risk for radio blackouts on Earth's day side. And on top of that, you're going to love the fact that the solar flux has dipped down into the high 90s. We are no longer in triple digits. And GPS users, you love it when the solar flux drops down. It makes GPS reception much more stable. However, radio operators, you're not loving it so much. You've probably noticed radio propagation is dipping down just a bit on Earth's day side. Sadly, these conditions will continue easily over this next week and possibly into the week following until bigger regions rotate back into Earth view and can boost that solar flux back up into the triple digits. The one nice thing is that we don't have any risk right now for any radiation storms. So you frequent flyers, everything is in the green for you, and we're back in the normal range. So the space weather has switched gears a bit this week. We don't have any big flare players on the Earth-facing disk, really, but we do have an Earth-directed solar storm. So aurora photographers at high latitudes expect to show starting around the 1st, and mid-latitude aurora photographers, well, stay vigilant because this storm, it's kind of hard to guess whether or not this storm is going to give us aurora down to mid-latitudes, but it does have a chance. So make sure you keep your batteries charged. Now, you amateur radio operators and emergency responders, yeah, I know you're not liking it. The solar flux is no longer in the triple digits. You're probably noticing that radio propagation isn't quite as good on the day side of Earth, but just kind of hang in there. We're going to have to deal and ride through this solar storm, and maybe on the Earth's night side you can get some auroral propagation that will kind of help out a little bit. But, on the day side, it's just not going to be as top-notch as you're used to. But as new regions rotate back into view over the next week, maybe 2 weeks or so, things will start looking up. So, just hang in there. And now GPS users, well, you should be rejoicing a bit. GPS reception should definitely be much better than it's been, both on the day side and on the night side. Now, sadly, though, we do have that solar storm coming. So starting around the 1st, if you're on Earth's night side, just be very careful, especially near dawn and near dusk or anywhere near aurora, because your GPS reception might be a bit off. I'm Timotheusco, the Space Weather Woman. Thank you for watching.
Okay, that's Timothy. Thank you, Timotheusco, for the solar report, and looks like there's going to be quite a bit of activity coming up over the next few days. So be interesting to see how HF propagation moves along with things. Anyway, you're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, and time is about 12 minutes to the hour. And I see that the AM signal's a bit hard to copy over there in Adelaide. You're just going to have to get a bigger radio there, Kim. Anyway, all right. You're tuned to ASV Radio VK3 EKH, broadcasting on 3541 kilohertz AM tonight, and also on 1865 simulcast there on 160 meters. And so far the reports I'm seeing is it's all nice and favourable and hi-fi, which is what I like. Of course I'm. Now, all right, we don't have much more time, but I did want to go through this next article. Let me see, where are we? Oh yeah, okay. This will probably bring us up to the hour. I suppose that's true. I've got it there anyway. Anyway, all right. So let me see. This is a report. It's called "Reach Across the Stars." How a new app offers interactive exploration of women in astronomy. And there's a little image I can bring up for that. There's actually a few images in this article tonight, so let me just run with that. Okay, this is the heading of the image. Oh, I've lost my TV. The only thing I've got here at the moment is the computer in front of me. I should. It doesn't really matter. I will. I'll bring up my YouTube feed so I can see what's going out on YouTube. In doing that, I will lose my inbox. All right, I can see the images there. Sorry about all this carrying on in the background. Okay. Women's contributions to astronomy date back centuries, and learn more about female astronomers past, present in this new app. And this image here on the screen is female astronomers have made significant contributions to science, though their work has gone unrecognised in some cases. It's just a generic picture there on the screen. Today, more women than ever are studying space. The number of female physicists, astronomers and mathematicians and more is steadily rising. After centuries of male over-representation in science, this has meant that more role models for girls and young women deciding what they want to do with their future, and an increased diversity of viewpoints and ideas for the science as a whole. But of course, it wasn't always that way. Women were historically excluded from scientific research, something that only began to slowly change in the last century. But that doesn't mean that women haven't been part of science. In astronomy alone, female astronomers and mathematicians and scientists did fundamental observing work, discovered comets, organised star catalogues and more. But their achievements were often overshadowed by the work of or worse, falsely attributed to their male colleagues, meaning that our understanding of the history of astronomy is incomplete. That's changed in recent years as books, movies and more have illuminated the lives of these brilliant women, not least of which was the movie Hidden Figures, which chronicled the work of female African-American mathematicians at NASA. But women's contributions to the study of the universe goes back centuries. And I've got another image now to switch to. You all might recognise her. So, like I say, just switch to my YouTube channel if you want to catch up with the vision side of all this. Caroline Herschel. Beginning in the 18th century, Caroline Herschel, a German astronomer, made observations of the night sky, looking for new nebulae and comets. She would go on to discover multiple previously unknown comets, including 35P Herschel Regolith, and perform work that formed the basis for the new general catalogue of deep sky objects that's still used today. Herschel led a life far different than one she may have expected. Initially intent on becoming a singer, she instead followed her brother William Herschel's passion for astronomy, growing to become a studious and dedicated astronomer in her own right. Herschel was the first woman to publish in the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society and was eventually awarded a gold medal of the Royal Astronomical Society. She was also likely the first woman to earn a salary for her scientific work, £50 annually, or more than $7,500 today. And there's just another image here I shall switch to, all part of her work. In the illustration you see on the TV right now is from volume 77 of the Philosophical Transactions, with 6 diagrams showing comets found by Caroline Herschel and her brother William with their positions in the sky at the time. And all very clever stuff. Next person we're going to talk about now will be this lass, and this is Wilhelmina Fleming. More than a century after Herschel, Scottish astronomer Wilhelmina Fleming would also make important contributions to a star catalogue. While in charge of the Henry Draper catalogue, Fleming developed a new study for classifying stars according to the relative amounts of hydrogen they contained, which astronomers could see in the spectrum of light they emitted. The catalogue eventually included more than 10,000 stars and was an important reference for astronomers as they worked to better understand the diversity of stars our universe contains. This image that you see on your screen right now is pictured around about in the 1890s. Fleming might be best known today, however, as the discoverer of the Horsehead Nebula, one of the most visually striking and well-known nebulae. Massive clouds of dust and gas in the galaxy. She also made impressive observing contributions, like discovering 59 nebulae, more than 310 variable stars, and 10 novae herself, as well as the first ever white dwarf. Very clever. Those were the days, that's for sure. This next image is Dorothy Vuhan. I think that's how you pronounce that. Vuhan. In the 20th century, the space race commandeered the public's attention for much of the 1960s, as the US and Russia veered to put humans in space and then on the moon. But behind the astronauts, many largely unrecognized individuals worked long hours and pioneered cutting-edge technologies to realize the dream of becoming a spacefaring nation. Those behind the scenes heroes included a small group of African-American mathematicians, now memorialized in the movie Hidden Figures, who were instrumental in getting American astronauts in space. The Hidden Figures included Dorothy Vuhan, a mathematician who spent nearly 3 decades working for the US government at both the precursor to NASA and NASA itself. There she supervised a group of human computers who carried out the complex calculations necessary to send rockets to orbit and bring astronauts back down safely. She was involved with the Scout Vehicle Launch Program, an early rocket program that sent small satellites to space, and later helped launch John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth to space in 1962. And finally, this other lass here, just bring up her image, and oops, wrong one. There we go. And this is Valentina Tereshkov. Not to be outdone, the Soviets announced the very next year that they would be sending the first female cosmonaut to space. They accomplished that in 1963 when Valentina made the trip to orbit during the Vostok 6 mission, becoming the first woman in space. Valentina spent 3 days in orbit before touching back down safely. She'd gotten the job because of her interest in skydiving. The Soviet space program recruited parachutists as cosmonauts, and Valentina became world famous after her trip, touring the globe and speaking to crowds about her journey. Later, she earned a doctorate in aeronautical engineering and retired from the Soviet Air Force with a rank of Major General. Back to me. Just bring up my camera to finish that article. Keep exploring women in astronomy. There are countless examples of women in astronomy. There are countless examples of women contributing in meaningful ways to astronomy, too many for one article. To learn more about the rich history of women astronomers, as well as the many female scientists advancing our knowledge today, check out Reach Across the Stars, a new augmented reality app from NASA. It's called Reach Across the Stars. The free app features special 360-degree AR tours, narrated by leading scientists, that let you fly to Mars, float through the International Space Station, get behind the scenes, look at the Mars 2020 rover, and much more. You can also learn about new science firsthand with interviews with awesome scientists like Katrina Hernandez, a systems engineer at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, NASA's astronauts Caddy Coleman and Jessica Watkins, and computer scientists and astronomer Wanda Diaz-Museed. You can find out more about the app listed as a Apple App of the Day on Science Near Me. It's another website, and that's about all I'll read of that. So there it is. That was a very interesting little article on what our ladies have been up to in the scheme of things. It's all very good stuff, isn't it? You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. Alrighty, now we'll pop across to what spaceweather.com has up for us. Okay. The solar wind is currently at 351.2 kilometers a second at a density of 7.4 protons per cubic centimeter. Currently on the disk of our sun, the sun disk, which I do have the image here. I'll just bring that up quickly. There it is. There are three sunspots on the disk of the sun as we speak, designated AR 3045, 3042 and 3040. The current sunspot number is 40, and the radio sun is currently at 96 solar flux units. That's actually quite much lower than it has been. That's measured at a wavelength of 10.7 centimeters, 96 solar flux units. So all is quiet. A slow-moving CME that might have hit Earth yesterday instead completely missed. NOAA researchers or forecasters say our planet's magnetic field should remain quiet for the next 3 days, as Timotheusco was reporting. There's also a bit of a gift image here, which I'll put up as well. And there it is. I'll put that on a loop so it continues. This is also from spaceweather.com. It is far side solar activity. The Earth side of the sun is quiet. The far side is not. Yesterday, an explosion from a hidden sunspot hurled a partial halo CME into space, and that can be seen there on the repeated video footage I'm running right now on the YouTube channel. The storm cloud will not hit Earth. It is travelling almost directly away from us. The active sunspot should turn to face the Earth in about 10 days' time from now, when it completes its far side transit. So it still could be quite active by the time it turns around to our side facing us. Okay. All right. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. Now, and of course the last thing I like to bring up is the near-Earth asteroids, potentially hazardous asteroids. We actually had I think it was Thursday, it was International Asteroid Day, Wednesday or Thursday, I think it was Thursday, classified as International Asteroid Day. Would you believe that there is actually such a thing? International Asteroid Day. Anyway, as of the 1st of July 2022, there are 2,279 potentially hazardous asteroids. Most of them are all listed there, just below that, on spaceweather.com. Okay, and as far as aurora is concerned, over Antarctica, it is very, very faint at the moment, hardly worth mentioning. I don't think I even bothered taking a still image of it, so there it is. There's not much in the way of auroral activity as we speak. It's all very quiet on the home front. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's just gone past the hour. I will conclude the broadcast for tonight. We were broadcasting amplitude modulation on 80 and 160 tonight. I hope it was mostly received very well by in those areas that were receiving a good strong signal. I apologise for the drop, the signal drop on the ATV repeater for those watching the Melbourne TV repeater, but for some reason the repeater has fallen over, so that will have Peter going up the hill tomorrow to work out what happened. Anyway, that's fine. We'll keep up with the YouTube channel for the time being. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Much appreciated. Everybody there up on the chat window, the Discord chat window. Kim there, VK5 FUSC, is saying something about a real big smart TV and don't need a bigger radio, something rather. He doesn't need a big radio. Okay, I get you now. But he could do definitely with a bigger antenna. Okay. That's probably what I should have said. A bigger antenna. Joe, VK3BKI, has visited us as well. G'day, Joe. And we also have, and then there's Steve, VK3SPX, Richard, VK3VRS, and I keep moving the wrong mouse here, and Roberto, VK3XRA, down there near the beach. Lovely location. And Cassiopeia, g'day, Nebs. And if you're still listening there, Brendan, g'day to you there, and good evening to you if you're still on the side. And that's about it. And Martin as well, VK7JH. Excellent. So that's about the list there on the chat Discord window. I'll just bring that down to the bottom if my mouse behaves itself. There it is. No worries, Nebs. Okay, now I'll just quickly go back to my email. There might be there's no new emails. That's okay. It's fine. All right, we shall conclude our service on 1865. I think that's all I need to make references to. The next broadcast will be next Friday at 10 o'clock on all the same channels that I come up on. We'll do it all again, and hopefully the TV repeater will be back up and running, and I'm sure it will. Have a good week. Take care. Look after yourselves. Standby stations. We are doing a callback on 80 meters, but we'll be on SSB. We'll go to lower sideband. So get ready to select your mode. Switch back to sideband. Just makes it easier for me, I think. Hopefully. Yeah, so this is VK3EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with a regular Friday night broadcast. 30 years in transmitting, thereabouts, is concluding the medium wave service and saying a very pleasant good evening to everybody on 1865 and standby stations on 80 metres. More information about the ASV can be found at www.asv.org.au. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to television. All right, that kills 1865. So now we shall go to a lower sideband. So get ready to change your mode switches to LSB, and we'll see how we go with my notebook. There's my log. Just get my logbook here and change the page. Get the pen ready. All right. I'm going to switch across to LSB as I speak. All right, this is VK3EKH, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, broadcasting now on lower sideband. We will take listeners. This is VK3. Any stations wishing to check in, VK3EKH listening.
VK3 Juliet, Mike Alpha, check in only. VK3 HTX.
Struth, how quiet that is. Okay, acknowledging Mark, VK3 JMA as check-in only, and VK3 HDX. Is there anybody else out there? Okay, we got VK3 SPX, and anybody else? Okay, VK3JR, and I think there's even a weaker station there, I'm not too sure. VK3EKH listening. Oh, it's probably Martin. Okay, I'd say it's Martin, VK7JAH. Well, propagation's not too good tonight, I think. Okay, never mind. All right. Now, okay, Mark, I noticed that you're just checking in. You don't want to say too much, so we'll go straight across to you there, Don. VK3HDX, VK3EKH.
Yeah, thanks, Clink. VK3EKH in the group, VK3HDX. Good broadcast, as always. Enjoyed all the articles. Like it when we get a fairly close one in time with Timotheusco's space weather reports. They're always informative, but enjoyed it. Enjoyed having a look at the ladies through history too, who have helped. That movie, Hidden Figures, is a very good film too. It's worthy of a watch if you're interested in such things. But thank you for the broadcast again. It was received very well here in the reclining chair through the hi-fi speakers. Very nice indeed, with the picture running up on the big screen. And just a cup of tea tonight, but it was very pleasant to listen to. Thanks, Clint, I appreciate it. VK3EKH and the group VK3HDX.
Yeah, thanks, Don. VK3HDX, VK3EKH, very good. Thank you for the kind report there. It's all noted, and I know that you get good signals on 160 and 80, and the AM sounds really good. So yeah, I just thought I'd run it tonight because I know that Stuart, one of VK3U, forget his course on again. Keep always forgetting that. Where are you, Stuart? Anyway, he's been working on a geloso, and he said he was going to be using the geloso tonight to have a listen to the broadcast on. So I thought, there he is. I thought I'd run the AM signal for Stuart. So it's good to be privileged tonight there, Stuart, isn't it? VK3UAO. Oh dear, I'm silly sometimes. Anyway, but he gives me a good signal into northern suburbs. Yeah, all right, excellent stuff. Okay, next week we'll be back on SSB, I think, just for the sake of those really distant stations. Listen in. All right, thanks, Don. Excellent stuff. Oh dear. Steve, VK3SPX. It was good to see you up there on the chat window tonight. VK3SPX, VK3EKH. Thanks, Dave. VK3SPX, VK3EKH returning good signal from you. You're hovering around 10 to 15 over 9, so not doing too bad at all. But thanks for calling in. And yes, you're quite right. I think it was about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, there was a solar a coronal mass ejection which produced a fairly decent effects on Leon's satellites. I think there was about 30 from memory. I think there was around about 30 satellites that were literally knocked out of their orbit. Whether they were savable or not, I'm not too sure what the end result was, but it just goes to show how the sun's influence on our space weather, so to speak, can be quite influential. And of course, you're quite right with the International Space Station that it creates this upper atmosphere drag. Every couple of months or so, they need to reposition the International Space Station because it naturally wants to go back to Earth. So they've got to fire little retro rockets to keep it back up into its 400 kilometre height orbit. So yeah, yes, space flight is quite precarious. Nevertheless, all right. Thanks, Steve. It's a good signal, like I say. And I agree about the SSB. What you're saying too. It's always helps. It cuts through a lot of the noise there and makes it a bit easy to copy, as opposed to AM if you've got noisy locations and not getting a good signal. AM is really only good for if you can cover the distance with a strong signal, or you're local and getting a good signal anyway. Frank, VK3JR, VK3EKH, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, VK3EKH, VK3JR. Signals are a bit down, Clint. Enjoy the AM, just a touch of nostalgia. Enjoy it all as usual, thank you for doing it. I always especially enjoy Tamitha, her information and her enthusiasm. I find very infectious, quite charming. Otherwise, exoplanets is the same as it's been for the last 3 weeks, 4743. No late night missions tonight. Otherwise, nothing else to report. Clint, thank you for doing it. 7-3, have a good week. VK3EKH, VK3JR.
Good on you, Frank. VK3JR, VK3EKH. Okay, on the no late night missions. Okay, I'll keep the volume down on that one. I hope Steve's okay. He'll probably be around on the coffee break net tomorrow morning, perhaps. I'll take a listen. But okay, on the current count still being at 4743. Not a problem. Thank you for that information. Excellent. Good on you, Frank. Good signal from you, though. Not a problem at all. Now, Martin. I think Martin did call in, but you might be a little bit on the 2 week side, but we'll give you a go. VK7JAH Launch System, VK3EKH listening for you. You faded out. All right, I think you put it back. You did fade to nothing there, Martin. You were quite okay at the beginning. I think you gave him a report of 30/9, so I got that much. But then you slowly faded down, just like you were turning your mic gain down. Anyway, Martin, not a problem. Thanks for the report, and it's good that at least one of us is getting across the straight with a reasonable signal. This inverted V that I use is working quite well for me, really. All right, I'll take one more listen to see if there's anybody else who wants to check in for tonight. This is VK3EKH.
Yeah, VK3JR again, Clint. I couldn't talk before because I was mobile. Absolutely beautiful signal, and I am coming back from work, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, no, I love the AM mode. I think I've got all the right setup here for a decent AM. So every now and then I think it's worthwhile to run AM. And if I do play a recording such as our Space Weather Woman or a podcast or something of that nature, I think it sometimes comes across better. But anyway, thanks, Mark. Good on you. Is there any other stations wishing to check in? VK3EKH? Yeah, thanks, Tony. I should have kept it. I did think that at the moment that I turned it off, I thought, Tony's probably watching the direct path, So at least I have one person still watching that way. But anyway, the little PA here makes a bit of noise. The fan inside is quite noisy. So if I wasn't going to use it, might as well turn it off. Anyway, not a problem. Thanks, Tony. All right. If there's nobody else, we'll conclude our service for tonight and turn off the YouTube channel. So this is ASV Radio, VK3EKH, concluding the transmission for tonight. And if you're not doing anything on a Saturday night, go across to Chris VK3AML's regular Saturday night broadcast. Kicks off at 9:30. 9:30 on his YouTube channel. Just type VK3AML. Generally he goes by the date, so if you type in VK3AML the 1st of July, you'll find it. But generally, if you go to his YouTube website, you'll see a live feed, and that'll be tomorrow night's feed. And I think he's got something quite interesting on tomorrow night. It'd be too much of a problem to find it right now. But he broadcasts for about 2 to 3 hours, normally finishing about midnight. He also simulcasts on 2 meters FM, 147.475, and usually has a small group of amateur stations that come back for a bit of a chat after the main broadcast. So Chris VK3AML with his regular Saturday night broadcast. I always tune in halfway through mostly. Anyway, enough of that. We shall conclude our service tonight. Thank you everybody for paying attention and listening in. We'll be back next Friday to do it again. This is VK3EKH concluding on 3541 kilohertz and wishing everybody a very pleasant evening. Thanks everybody there on the chat window too, and we'll see you all next Friday. Cheers for now. Bye everybody.